Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So before I begin, so we have a few minutes until Sister Duaa jumps in. So I'll get started on a few things that I wanted to let you guys know. I know Brother Akam probably mentioned it before, but they're really awesome, so why not give it another shot? So first things first, I wanted to let you guys know that at I3 we are building principled Muslim leaders of tomorrow, and for that, one of the things that we're doing in this Ramadan is having daily programs that touch on different topics. And so you can register for these programs. I'll put the link in the chat as well. There we go. And additionally, we are also having two major events happening this weekend. Additionally, we're also going to be having two community iftars. I'm going to share my screen quickly to show you guys a little bit about different events that are happening. So firstly, on April 9th, so that would be this Saturday, we are having a Pursuing for Excellence Ramadan event. We're going to be having amazing speakers. It's going to be from 2 to 6 p.m. and you're going to be able to sign up for all these events with that same one link that I sent in the chat. And on that same day, and from 7:30 to 9, we're going to be having a community iftar. It's going to be sponsored by Sahābah, which is a Yemenis restaurant. So we're going to have amazing Yemenis food, and this will be followed by Tarawih. And the location of it will be at the I3 hub, so that's 5889 Coopers Avenue in Mississauga. Then on Sunday, we're going to have another awesome event about raising children in uncertain times with Zakia, along with Kulsum Khatam, who is going to be hosting it, and it's going to be at 2 p.m. Same link for sign up. And then on that very same day, we're going to be having another community of Qadar. That's right, another one. I believe it's the same time. Yep, 7:30 mentioned down here at 5889. So for the community of stars, we actually have a different link, and I'll put that in the chat as well. And once you sign up for like one of the community iftars with using this link, you're good for the rest of them. No need to sign up more than once. Let me just confirm if Sister Duaa is here. Nope, she hasn't. Oh, okay, amazing.
Thank you.
Sister Duaa, you're here. Amazing. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of introduction of Sister Duaa, and then inshallah we'll get started. So Sister Duaa is a mother, wife, and a homeschooling teacher who studied Islamic studies and Arab lover in addition to studying under traditional local scholars in Lebanon. She is a co-founder and senior instructor at I3 Institute. She has ijaza in Tajweed, and she has been teaching halakhas in tafsir, Tazkiyah, and fiqh for the last 14 years. She has a bachelor's degree in computer science and a diploma in teaching education on top of all of that. SubhanAllah. Now, Sister Duaa, the floor is yours. Please take it away.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. I love this, inshallah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Today, inshallah, I'm going to talk about a Sahabiyya whom, subhanallah, after I read about her, I guess, and got to know her through whatever books I have read. She reminded me of Khadija radiallahu anha, and for sure when I'm gonna speak about her, I guess you're gonna see why I'm saying that. Rumān, she is Zainab bint Amir al-Kinaniya. She's from Bani Kinana tribe. She lived in a place called As-Sarat, in Jazirat al-Arab, basically like around Mecca and Medina. For sure, she was raised in a very good, I guess, with good parents, and she was really a very good girl. And that's why when she became like old enough, I guess, she started to have proposals. And then definitely the one who got married to her, the lucky one, I guess, his name was Abdullah ibn al-Harith al-Azdi. And they both they got married, and they had a son whose name was At-Tufayl. And At-Tufayl ibn Abdullah ibn al-Harith was a non-Sahābah as well. Now her husband, he wanted to go to Mecca. So he wanted to be really close to Al-Kaaba and live there. So they went together with their son. And definitely the habit in Jahiliyyah, I guess, and this is for sure, we're talking about Jahiliyyah time before Islam still. So the habit there is that when you want to enter like a new place, you have to have somebody to ally with, right? So Abdullah, he chose basically Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu to ally with him and to defend him and protect him from any harm while he's living in Mecca. Now, not after a very long time, subhanallah, he died. And he left his wife with their son, At-Tufayl. So for sure also, one of the, I guess, the habits of Arabs at that time is that if you have somebody whom you were ally with, it's good, and he died, for example, it's good to protect his wife and be for her support. So he proposed for Rumān, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. And she accepted for sure, and they got married. Now, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he was married before her to another woman, and he had two daughters from her, whom were Asma radiallahu anha and Abdullah. So those were his two kids from another wife before Rumān. Now, for sure, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, revelation came to him, and he became a prophet. And definitely Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu was the first one to, I guess, believe with Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, and for sure, here, I guess, where something which is very important, I guess, that we could learn from this story is that the first thing that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu did after he converted to Islam is that he went to his house, and for sure he was so happy, and like he was, you could tell that he's like really, really, really very happy. So for sure his wife, after she asked him like what's going on, so he explained to her about Islam and whatever he has learned from Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And definitely she believed also in Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and in Islam, and she became a Muslim. And here there's a very important story is that any person who get to know something that is khair or something that is good, he should share it with his family members. The first thing that he should share with is his family members. And this is what Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu did, and definitely what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam did when he spoke to Khadija radiallahu anha. So for sure, Rumān, she was one of the first people who embraced Islam, and definitely she had to pass through lots and lots of, the torture and the sufferings, I guess, that they had to suffer at the beginning of da'wah in Mecca. Now, she was very educated, I guess, in a sense. She had lots of akhlaq and good manners. And subhanallah, what added to that also is that she lived with Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, who was a school, I guess, on his own. So he taught her lots of also good stuff and good manners. And one of the major things, I guess, is the generosity. So he was so generous, and she was also generous like him. Now, the main thing, I guess, about Rumān is that she was a role model being a wife. And this is for sure rare, where you can find, is that she was supporting her husband all the time. So she never, I guess, blamed him for anything. She never complained about anything. Although Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he was so generous and he was rich. But sometimes he used to donate all his money for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially at the beginning of the da'wah, where he used to liberate slaves, I guess, and buy them to liberate them after. So to the extent that sometimes they will find no money to pay for anything, to bring food or buy food or anything. And Rumān, she never complained. She never told him like, how come you do that? You're supposed to have more money, and how can you do that? And keep us without anything. So she was supportive to her husband to the most highest scale that you could think of. And subhanAllah, she delivered also she had two kids from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. One of them is Aisha radiallahu anha. Allah have mercy on them all. And Abdul Rahman. Okay, so Abdul Rahman and Abi Bakr. So those two were her two kids from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. And subhanAllah, when we think, and definitely she had to also parent his two kids from his previous life, from his previous wife. So she raised them all together, the four of those people. And definitely if we look at those four, mashallah, they were the big examples, I guess, of the Sahābahs, Aisha radiallahu anha and Asma bint Abi Bakr, like all those people who showed great examples, I guess, of sincerity and belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one time, definitely Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to visit them a lot, and she used to have a good relationship with the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's why she narrated lots of ahadith also from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she used to teach the Sahabas these ahadith. Now, one time Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw a dream that, and definitely it was a ru'ya, that Jibreel alayhi salam came and told him, Aisha is going to be your wife in this dunya and in the akhirah. So for sure, he has to, this ru'ya has to come true. So he went to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and he proposed for Aisha. Now, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, I guess, was so happy, excited, with surprise, with everything, because Aisha at that time was very young. She was like 8 or 9 years old. So Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he was kind of telling Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that she's kind of still like very young. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no problem. We can postpone like marriage really into I guess when she gets more and reaches puberty and become more mature. And he was busy after that for sure, going to Medina and establishing the Islamic State in Al-Medina, and he forgot about all this issue. And then now when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for sure, he like the Pledge of Allegiance, Bay'at al-Aqaba al-Ula, the first one and the second one, he asked the Muslimin, or he allowed them to go and make hijrah to Al-Medina. So all of the Muslims almost, they did hijrah to Al-Medina. But Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he told him no. So every time Abu Bakr as-Siddiq goes and asks Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like, am I allowed to travel also, do the hijrah? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tells him, no, I'm not ordered yet. And every time he goes to his wife Rumān, and she asks him like, what, can we go or still or no? So he tells her no. And she, as usual, so patient. She never asks, she never complains. Patient as her habit with him all her life. And then Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one day he told him, خلاص, we were commanded that you're gonna come with me on your own. So I and you are gonna travel on our own to Al-Medina. Now for sure Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was so happy, who wants to be accompanied with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? This is a big honor. But then he was thinking with himself, like, wow, what about my family? What about my wife and my kids? Like, what's going to happen with them? So he told Rumān, he went to her and he told her, you can't go with me, so I have to go with the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam on our own. And subhanallah, putting myself, I guess, in her shoes, I'll be like, what? Like, you're going to leave us here? And definitely living in Mecca with all this torture and sufferings that the Muslimin used to have in Mecca was something that is really hard. And now she has to live on her own, take care of her kids without her husband. So it's really like a tough thing to do. But subhanallah, she didn't say anything, and she told him, no problem, inshallah, we're going to wait for you. We're going to wait for the time that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam allows us to do hijrah to Al-Medina. And she stayed there, steadfast, strong, raised her kids, and يعني was patient, subhanallah, all the time. After like a short period of time, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he sent Zayd ibn Haritha to Mecca to bring يعني all the people who stayed there, and for sure one of them was Rumān and the children of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. So they went there and they lived in Medina. Now Rumān, she remembered, and like she was kind of like, I guess, smart. So she remembered that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he wanted to marry her daughter. He didn't say anything, and he was like supposed to finish the marriage stuff, and she lives with him. So she told Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, like, what's going on? Like, do you want to tell him, remind him of the marriage and stuff? So Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he went to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he told him, like, we agreed on marrying my daughter to you, like, inshallah. So it happened, and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam married Aisha radiallahu anha. And definitely, like, imagine, I guess, imagine like being the mother-in-law of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's like something that's so nice, I guess. So Rumān was the mother-in-law of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and for sure, she was so happy, having like such a son and a husband for her daughter, whom she won't be worried at all, because he's gonna take care of her as she likes. Now, subhanallah, as the tests of life go on, and there will always be tests. So the hadith of ifk happened. So I'm not sure if people are familiar with that, but when Aisha radiallahu anha was accused in her honor. So this was really a very, very, very tough test. And subhanallah, I guess Rumān, when she heard about this, she fell down and she lost her consciousness, because it was very hard on her. Imagine somebody speaking about like something like that about your daughter. This is very, very hard. So Aisha radiallahu anha, for sure, she didn't know at the beginning, and she felt that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam was not as before, like close to her and joking with her and playing with her. So she told him, I just want to go and be with my parents. So when she stayed with her, Rumān, she didn't tell her. She didn't tell her anything. She didn't want to hurt her. So Aisha radiallahu anha, she stayed like a little period of time, not knowing what's going on. But then for sure, she knew through someone, and for sure it was so hard on her. But Rumān, what did she do? She was very strong. She wasn't like the type of woman who's gonna like, oh my God, what's happened to my daughter, and how dare people speak about that, and maybe like make problems and issues and troubles, and maybe like fight with her I guess son-in-law and all these things. She was so patient, and she told her daughter, don't worry, my daughter. Anyone who is in your status, I guess a nice girl who is married to a very, very honorable person, who's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, she's going to have lots of people who are going to envy her and cause her issues and problems. So don't worry and be patient, and inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us. So this was the status of Rumān towards her daughter. She was supportive. She was trying to relieve her all the time, trying to soothe her, very, very patient. But subhanallah, for sure, until Aisha radiallahu anha was innocent, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown people her innocence through the Quran. Now, definitely the stress that Rumān was in, and the shock of the bad news, I guess, affected her health. So after subhanallah, this hadithat al-ifk, she was so sick. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to stay with her and take care of her until she, subhanallah, until she died. And she died in the 6th of the Hijrah, after the Hijrah, 6th year in the Hijjah. And the nicest thing is that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he buried her, and he went into her grave, and he made dua to her, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive her. And for sure, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he didn't do that to all the Sahabas. He did it for only 5 Sahabas, I guess. and Rumān was one of them because of her status and because he loved her and he respected her. She was also the mom of his beloved wife. So, and he told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, you know how much Rumān has suffered for the sake of you and for the sake of Islam. So forgive her and make her status high in Jannah, inshallah. So this is basically the story of Rumān. And subhanallah, I was thinking, I guess when I was reading her life, you might not find really like big, maybe like events, I guess, that she has done, or maybe she shared in battles or whatever with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But she did maybe one thing, I guess, which was enough for her to be in a very high status and for the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself to bury her. And this thing was basically being a supportive and an obedient and a good wife and a good mom. So those two things, subhanallah, were very, very enough, more than enough, I guess, for her to be a person who deserved, I guess, this high status as a Sahabiyya, and this honor, I guess, from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So may Allah have mercy on her and all the Sahabiyat and the Sahabas, and may Allah make us on their steps, learn from their stories, and try to, I guess, imitate them and be on their footsteps, inshallah, so that we meet them, inshallah, in Jannah and be together بإذنه تعالى. آمين. وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Jazakallah, Sister Duaa, for that beautiful session. This was actually my first time learning about this Sahabiya, and that was amazing. Subhanallah, subhanallah. I mean, so I guess we have a few minutes left before the end of the session. So I wanted to ask if anyone here who's joining us today has any questions, drop them in the chat. Feel free to also direct message me as well if you're more comfortable that way. Inshallah. Okay, so far no questions are coming in. I actually have a question for you, Sister Duaa, in that case. So one of the things I wanted to ask is, in regards to what differentiates her from the other Sahabiya, is there any particular trait or characteristic that just kind of like sets her apart?
Wallahi, look, I guess from whatever I have read about her, the only really main characteristic that differentiated her from other people is that she was really a very, very supportive and obedient to her husband. And definitely, she raised her kids in a way that they became those big heroes in Islam. All four of them. So those, I guess, mainly regarding her. And definitely she was really like she narrated some hadith from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was also educated in this sense. Those are basically majorly the things. Now there is a hadith actually. I didn't want to share it because after the research I saw that it's kind of weak hadith. But I'm just gonna mention, but it is weak. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that if you want to meet a woman from the Hur al-Ain, okay, you want to meet Rumān. So he compared Rumān to Al-Hur al-Ain. Now definitely this comparison could not only mean that she was beautiful like Al-Hur al-Ain, but could also mean that she was really kind of pure and having nice akhlaq and manners as the Hur al-Ain. Okay. So this is also if the hadith was if we're gonna accept the hadith, it shows also a lot about her, subhanallah. But it's weak, so that's why I didn't share it. But you read it in lots of places, this hadith.
SubhanAllah. Jazakallah for your response. Another question that came up is, who was Abu Bakr's other wife? So before Rumān.
Wallahi, to be honest, I'm not sure about her name. I don't think I have passed through her name. But he had two kids from her, so Asma and Abdullah, and then Aisha and Abu Bakr, and Aisha and Abdurrahman from Rumān.
Sorry to interrupt. Wasn't his first wife Qutayla? And then she was also a non-Muslim. So
What's
he
her name?
divorced her.
Qutayla?
Qutayla.
Well, it could be. Maybe.
I think I read it somewhere that she was the first wife of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, and because she did not accept Islam, Abu Bakr divorced her.
Okay. Good to know. Jazakallah khair.
And I also had a question. What does Umm Rumān's name mean?
Umm Rumān, I guess it seems like kind of like laqab or kunya in Arabic, where sometimes the kunya is that you call the person with the first boy son that he has. And if your oldest son is named Hassan, you will be Hassan, right? This is in Arabic for the Arabs. Now for her, for sure, she didn't have a son whose name is Rumān, but it seems it was just kind of a laqab or kunya that people gave it to her at that time. Now, what's the reason? To be honest, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's a reason, but sometimes people give just like names or kunyas to people, just calling them with different names. But this name was in lots of books. And the Umm Rumān was Zainab. I found it in few places that her name was Zainab. So I'm not sure if it's really authentic, even if her name was really Zainab. But Rumān was definitely, and in all books, they will refer to her as Rumān.
Another question in the chat came up. If you enter Jannah, are you automatically better than those who didn't?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
If you enter Jannah, are you automatically better than those who didn't?
If you're automatically better than those who didn't enter Jannah?
Yeah.
No, definitely. And if somebody who's entering Jannah and somebody who's in hell, definitely those who are in Jannah is better than those who are in hell.
Okay.
Not sure the question. I don't think it's like that.
If whoever asked could clarify, that would be okay. And aren't women of this world who enter Jannah better than the Huris?
Better than the
Huris?
I don't understand the question.
Houris.
Or the Huriyat. Okay.
Okay, sorry for the pronunciation.
No worries, inshallah. For sure. The wife from the woman from this dunya will be way nicer and looks way better than the Huriyat. Although the Huriyat, we have lots of descriptions of them that are amazing in the Quran, but the woman from this dunya will be way nicer than them.
Jazakallah. Okay, so that is the end of our session. Jazakallah Sister Duaa for amazing session. I hope you guys all benefited. I definitely did. Now I will quickly talk about what's happening tomorrow, and to just wanted to let you guys know that links are posted above, but I don't mind putting it in if anyone needs. So tomorrow at same time around 6 to 7 we'll be having the I3 hour again. This time it'll be Chops of Shaitan and Tafsir with Shaykh Wasta. Another thing I wanted to mention is that I3 is building a hub in the GTA. It's going to be state of the art, and right now what we're trying to do is pay off remaining interest-free loans that we purchased for the land. And this hub in the GTA is going to help continue serving the Muslim community and allow us to reach and expand I3 so that build its people who carry the dawah. And it is the month of Ramadan. Please donate generously as your good deeds will be multiplied. I will be putting the link in the chat. And for those of you who are following us on Instagram, please make sure to do so. It is I3 Institute. We do have daily Instagram challenges that are also going on, inshallah. And that is all. And Jazakallah everyone who joined in today. Inshallah, I'll be hosting again at 6:37 next week on Thursday. So I'll see you then. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.